All right, this is the introduction for the soda bottle project. This is the first project where you're going to be using color, and you're going to be using all the tools that we've learned so far, including all the shape tools, your pen tool, your eyedropper tool. Anything that we've learned so far is free game. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to details in your design and that you're overlapping your shapes and lines in the correct order. Your goal is to recreate the illustration of the soda bottle and cup that is given to you in the Google Classroom. I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay. Your file should have at least 3 layers, one for your image, one for the background, and one for your drawing. And you're welcome to create more than those layers if it helps you organize your artwork, but that's up to you. You need a minimum of those 3. Your colors should also match the given image, and your overall craftsmanship and attention to detail are going to be considered during grading. Remember, work smart, not hard. There's plenty of tools that we've learned so far that'll make your life easier instead of just using the pen tool for everything. Again, file size for this project is 8 by 10. It's always on the project sheet. You can find this project sheet on Google Classroom and on Ms. Boone's bookshelf. Let's head over to the Google Classroom. This is what the assignment looks like. Go to Google Classroom and you should find the soda bottle project assignment. I don't have the project sheet linked currently, but I will add that so you guys have access to it here as well. Remember to name your file correctly. Last name _ first name _ soda bottle. .ai is automatic when we save in Illustrator. Okay, all of our projects are saved last name, first name, and the name of the project. Here's the image that you're going to be recreating. We need to download it in order to get it into Illustrator. So right now I'm going to go to the little 3 dots. Notice download is not an option. This probably happened on your computer too. Go to open in new window. And then you may see a download icon here. If you don't see it here, click the 3 dots. You should be able to download. Let's download. Once I download it, it should pop up at the bottom. I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to right click and copy the image. Let's head over to Illustrator so we can create a new file. So for creating a new file, we're going to go to File, New, and we need to set our dimensions, which are 8 by 10, right? 8 inches width, 10 inches height, and only 1 artboard. You can also put your name in here if you don't want to forget. And remember, last name, first name, soda bottle. And then push Create. Here's our blank file. I'm going to paste my image in that I already copied. I can either use the shortcut on my keyboard, Control V, or I can go up at the top and click Edit, Paste. Notice this image is big. Zoom out and you'll be able to see it. And we need to resize it. Same with our Illustrate project. We don't want to squish our image, so we need to hold the Shift key on our keyboard. Click and drag to resize our image. I'm going to move it into my artboard. And I'm going to resize it so that it fits. Remember to hold Shift. It's okay if there's a tiny bit of space around that, but make sure you fill up most of the artboard. Once I've got my image in here, I'm going to go ahead and lock layer 1. If your layers panel's missing, go ahead and reset your essentials here at the top, reset essentials, and you'll be able to see everything that I see. Go to layers, and in this little blank box next to layer 1, I'm going to click and you'll see a lock. That means my layer is locked. I can no longer draw on it. I cannot move my image, and that's a good thing because we don't want our image moving around while we're trying to trace it. So once I've locked that, let's rename this by double clicking and saying this is the image. Push enter. Now I need to create a new layer. Now I've got layer 2. What am I going to do with layer 2? One question that I get from students all the time with this project is, how do I make my background filled in blue like this image? We need to draw a rectangle for that. So I'm going to come over here and get my rectangle tool. And I'm going to click and drag to draw a rectangle that's the same size as my artboard. There we go. Right now the fill color of my shape is white. I can check that right here on the left. And I'm going to swap it so that I can see the image behind it, right? Because this red layer is on top of the image. It's overlapping. I can't see it. Let's swap those colors with this curved arrow. And I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to grab the blue color in the background. I've got my background, and I'm also going to lock this layer. Let's rename it. Double click, name it background. Now, obviously I can't see my image while this background is there, so I'm going to use the eyeball to toggle that. Right now that background is invisible, and that's okay. So we still can't draw because both of our layers are locked, so we need one more. If you think back to the project sheet, I told you the third layer that you're going to need is for your drawing. This is where you're going to start tracing the image. You can use your pen tool, shape tools, whatever we've learned so far to help you. Think back to the basics. We learned first shape tools, some basic things. This label looks like a diamond. It's also a square. So let's get our rectangle tool. We can hold shift and draw a square, and we can rotate a square on its side to create the same exact shape that exists as the label. You can also use your ellipse tool to draw some of these bubbles, right? We've got our ellipse tool that will draw circles, and they'll be perfect circles if you hold the shift key. Remember, use your eyedropper tool to grab the correct color. You can also copy and paste to duplicate this so you don't have to draw a million little circles. You may have to resize them. Control C is copy on your keyboard. Control V is paste. There's the second one that I just copied. Whoops, accidentally rotated it. I can move this. I can resize this. Make it the correct size. I can also Alt drag. Okay, so if I hold Alt on my keyboard, I can click and drag and duplicate. It may not look like I've done that, but look, when I click and drag over, I've drawn 3 of them. So here's one. I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag. Now I've got another one. If I want to see what I've drawn so far, I can use, let's actually recolor this so you can see it. Okay. I can use my background, toggling it back on with the eyeball, and see what I've gotten so far. This is a great way to see how far you've come without having to move an image, right? Just keeping that background layer so you can go back and forth to see what you've done and what you still need to draw. There's a few other things that I want to point out to you guys for this project that students tend to get stuck on. I'm going to do that in a separate video.